Welcome to the Neo Operational Video Series for Software version 3.10. This video is designed for targeted instruction to get you up to speed quickly and simply. This video targets the summary of changes in Software version 3.10. So for all file-related activities, go bottom left to the Options pull down, and here you will have New Show, Open File, Save, and Save File. We're going to go to the Open File option. And you'll see here's the redesigned menu. It does have a blue border letting you know you're in the open file. Now you have the ability to do a new show here, and we generally work from left to right. So the bundle here on the left, new show, we can open a show, we can import show, we could open a packed show, we could import ASCII or restore from a backup. I'm going to go back to the open show option. The second bundle here are options of where you can look for this information. So the home is going to be in the Neo Shows folder. We've got recent removable drives, so if you have a USB key plugged into your system, if you have a network drive set up. A new thing we've added is cloud storage. So if you have a Microsoft OneDrive, a Google Drive, or a Dropbox account, you can set that up and do all of your saving over the cloud. You can also browse, which will bring up a more traditional Windows folder type system. Notice you'll have your list of files over here. You can search up in the top. You also have a switch which will either show or hide revision files. So we're going to cancel out of this and now look at Save. Very similar looking dialog box, but it does have a red border indicating that this is the Save dialog box. So you can do Save Show, save a packed show, or save a template. Saving templates is a new feature as well. It's designed for facilities where your light plot will not change very often, and anytime you start a fresh show, you actually want the patch to stay the same. But you don't have to limit it there. You could have it include certain palettes that you like to keep, or anything that you would like to be part of that template file, maybe submasters or anything else that the desk could do. Another feature of the Save folder is to save a copy. Now the way this is designed to be used is when you're ready to save your show, you can go in here and save it onto your hard drive. Many people will also want to take and make a copy of that onto a USB stick to take away with them, and that's where you can do that here, as well as create a new folder, save, or cancel. The save file is going to be similar to the previous one, just this is where you could save it as a new file name. As we increase functionality within the console, going to different screens, you can have a similar command line that can do different things. So we've improved the identifier for the command line depending upon what screen you're in. So if you look bottom left, we're in our live display and you'll see the live button. It also now shows you the queue number that you're sitting in. But if I go to groups, we now have a group command line. You can see it's a very clear identifier with the yellow border around the command line, so that when you type in there, you're typing in your group command line. If I go to patch, then we're going to get a patch command line with a blue bordered identifier, and the last one is blind. If we go into blind, then we're going to get a red border to identify that we're in the blind command line, and I'll go back to live. So dovetailing off the command line identifiers, the groups command line has been improved and added functionality. So I've adjusted on the multi-monitor system so that when I open up the group display, it puts the group window on my main monitor for the purpose of the video. So if I open up the group display, I'm now in my group command line. So if I type group number enter, in this case I'll do group 11, enter. Now what it's going to do is select group 11. If we were in live, this would select all the channels of group 11, but here in the group display it will now select the group. Bottom here in the details window, I can go to the channel grid, and this will show me a list of all the channels that are in here, and I can manipulate them. So if I wanted channel 11 to be at 50% instead of full, I could say 11 at 5, enter, or I'll just put it back to full. And let's say I want to add a channel. I want to add channel 21 to this. So I can say 21 full, and now that's been added. Or with it selected, and I know it's selected by the red box around it, I can do add enter to take it away. So if I wanted to get rid of channel 15, I could say 15 add enter, and now that's gone. I can also see my channel list up here, but let's say I want to put it back, so 15 full, and there we are. And now the release key will unselect or release any channels that are selected. There are a series of improvements that fall under the category of palette types improvements. The first one I would like to talk about is a submaster palette type. So if I go under options and edit palette types, we now see a new column called submasters. Now yes, it's still part of the group engine, but it is its own type. So it has its own category, it's going to have its own tab in the group display, and it will collect all parameter data by default. So we can look here and we can see all of the attribute families listed in rows, and the submaster is the column, and you can adjust that if you wish. So if you don't want edge or beam, you can simply click and turn them off. If you go below the attribute header here, this is where you can get into individual parameter control. So if you wanted to turn off CTO or the control channel, you can manipulate that individually if you wish. You can see there's a submaster filter. I can expand this column a little bit, and we can see that there is a submaster palette type. So that's number one. Number two, with the submaster palette type now coming into play, the group palette type now defaults to only intensity. So it will work more as a traditional group does, only collecting the channels and their intensity, and of course the order in which you select them will be part of the group as well. The third change, and I would say probably one of the biggest additions into 3.10, there's now a preset palette type. So presets by default will contain all attributes, but they can also nest palettes. So if you have a position palette and the fixture is using that position palette, then from that you store a preset. The preset will reference the palette. So a preset can have raw data for all parameters, or it can nest the palette, either one. So we're going to take a quick look. I'm going to go back to live. I'm going to grab all of the movers, turn them on. We're going to manipulate pan and tilt, and I'm going to say record position 1, enter. Just a simple way to store position. We can see down here in the pan tilt column that we have everybody's referencing the position. I could now take this, and in order to record a preset, we can use Shift plus sub to put preset on the command line. And I'm going to store this as preset 1, and we'll notice that all parameters have been accepted and are part of preset 1. And here under pan tilt, there's a greater than sign where it's referencing position 1. So another new feature that's been added is profile effect clustering. And what I mean by that is the clustering determines how many channels respond together. So they're grouped, and you get to determine how many they are. So I've got 201 through 210 selected, so I have 10 fixtures. I'm going to go to my effect library, which are profile effects, and I'm going to select a simple one like square wave wrap. Notice there's now a fifth wheel called cluster. Right now is sitting at 1, therefore every fixture is controlled by itself. The minute I move this to 2, now it groups 2 of them together, so then we now have 5 sets of 2 versus 10 sets of 1. and I'm going to move it to 3, and now they're clustered by 3 and 4, clustered by 4, 5, so on and so forth. When you're manipulating your encoders for your effect parameters, cluster is on the level wheel. So that's how you can make that adjustment from your console as opposed to using the graphical interface on the touchscreen. So we have a new fabulous and very intelligent way to select groups of fixtures, and it's called the quick select bar. So we're going to go into the view pull down. Now I'm in basic mode, so the options that are on your view pull down are limited, but I'll go in display options and I'm going to select quick select bar. Now what that's going to do is open up the quick select bar on the left side of your channel grid. The beauty of this is it works very much like the selection shortcuts do, where it pulls labeling information from Patch. So if we go take a look in Patch, we can see that there's position information, purpose, and color information, and I've done a video on this previously. And if we scroll down to looking at, here's the LEDs, we have position and purpose, obviously no color information because it has no gel that we placed in, similar with the Vari-Lights. So with that information populated, it allows you to have a pre-built list of not only your positions, your purpose, and your colors, but a new item is by fixture type. So every time you add a new fixture type, it's going to give you a new quick select for all of the fixtures of that same type. Now each of these can be collapsed. If you're not using color or purpose, you can collapse them to gain more room for the others. But the beauty of it is if I just want to grab all my 155s or my Vari-Lights, then I can do that. Now there's a wonderful setting here under select called filter by current selection. With that turned off, if I select fixtures, it's just going to grab everybody. So if I've got my 155s and I say now I want to grab everybody on the first electric, or now everybody on the second electric, or now all of my blue backs, it's going to immediately switch over. If I go into select and turn on filter by current selection, I'm going to say let's grab all of my Vari-Lights, but only the ones on the first electric. So it's a much more intelligent way to be able to select certain sets of fixtures and even subsets of fixtures just by communicating with the desk using English rather than having to worry about memorizing channel numbers. Many times I've found myself in the situation where the fixture default information isn't really what I need for this particular show. A couple of examples might be that LEDs, you want to default to a 3200 Kelvin rather than all the emitters at full, and you may have moving lights that are hung in the front of house positions such that pointing straight down will not allow you to see the beam, so you'd like to have them tilted a bit. So we have a solution, and it's called fixture attribute defaults. So we'll go in the Patch, and here I'm looking at my 155 zooms, and here's a new column called defaults. So if I click on this, it's going to bring up a default adjustment where one can go in, and for any of these parameters you could provide raw data, or you click on, I've clicked on red, it could have happened with green or blue or white, and this will show, this will display all of my palettes. So I have previously created a color palette called 3200 Kelvin. Now I could use the home palette if I wish, but I'm going to use this 3200, and this has applied that information. You can see it's in yellow for all of the color parameters on this fixture. Now I could continue to apply that to the others to complete this set. For this example, I'm just going to do one, and we're going to go back to live and save the patch. And here you can see this fixture now defaults to those values for the 3200 Kelvin, and since it's default values for the show, the information shows up in a light gray text the way it would any normal default. So it's a really great solution for solving some of those problems I described earlier. And the beauty of it is it's per fixture, per attribute, per show file. One of my favorite features that has been added is encoder control of your graphical window. So here we're looking at our live window, and without anything selected, if you look at your encoders, the top one says scroll queue lists, so it will allow you to scroll down and up the queue list quickly and easily. The second one is scale, which will allow you to zoom in or zoom out on your channel grid. The third one is down at the bottom. If you have the ML Intelligent View open, it will scroll this window. And the fourth one will take that same ML view and pan the window. Now, if I go in the blind, I have the exact same options. If I go into patch, then my top one is panning my channel table. The second one allows me to select the universe on my DMX outputs. The third one will allow me to scroll the dimmers within that particular universe. The fourth one will allow me to scroll down my fixture library, and if I wanted to open up one of the folders, I can click on it and it will open to show me the list of fixtures per manufacturer that I can scroll through, find one I like, I can click and select it. From here, I'll open up my group display, where the top one allows me to select a group, the third one, and then I can scroll through my group details, or I can pan through those details depending upon the tab that you're on within the details window. But a really fabulous feature. For this next feature, I've gone into system properties and gone into the advanced mode, because we are going to need to see our advanced pull down menu so that we can get to a feature called Open Frame Color and Gobo Picker. Since we're on a single monitor, I'm going to keep this as a floating window. Normally I would dock this into my second monitor, but I have my VL2600 selected, and this automatically populates with everything that has a frame. So a color wheel, Gobo wheel, everything will populate automatically for you. So if I want to select a color like orange, and now we can see that's been assigned to my color wheel. I could pick my night sky Gobo, circle of ovals, and go grab my neurons, and notice that's on my second Gobo wheel, but I didn't have to care, it just took care of it for me. A couple of beautiful options here. One is clear other Gobo wheels, so notice that took the circle of ovals out when it put that in. Otherwise I could turn that off, and then I can stack Gobos as needed. Also, I can ask it to find the closest match if I happen to be dealing with multiple fixture types and it's not available from one fixture type to another. So it's a great way to see all the selection options for color wheel and Gobo wheel and be able to pick them immediately. So the progress bar on the queue has now been split to show separate progress bars for up and down time. I have a couple of effects running just to show this example, but under View we now have a new view called Color Table. This is really more for architectural applications or large LED arrays, but it is also scalable with your encoders. So under More and Control Panel, a couple of new things here. Number one, Neo Color Picker. This will allow Neo PC software running on a laptop to access the console and allow the designer to pick the color independent from the programmer or the operator. So it gives the designer more control over color. And we have a Neo 310 manual addendum that has been added and is available directly here. Well, this by no means covers everything that's changed, but thanks for watching this Neo operational video for software version 3.10. You can go to the Strand website for more information and continue watching for a list of additional features.